2, 1. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the July meeting of the Richmond Planning Committee. First of all, apologies. I have apologies from Angus Thompson, who has been substituted by Yvonne Peacock. I don't think there's anybody else, is there? No apologies. And Councillor David Webster, Chairman of the Committee. The officers here today are Christian Brennan, who is from Democratic Services, Jonathan Smith and Fiona Hunter, planning officers, Francis Maxwell, who is our legal officer. Please may I respectfully ask that you switch off any mobile phones or devices, put them onto mute. Please also be advised that this meeting may be recorded by a member of the general public. We have a number of present public who are observing proceedings by teams. There are no alterations to the application that we're to discuss today. We're operating a 5-minute rule for speakers, and a warning will be given to the speaker when 30 seconds are remaining. This meeting is being broadcast live. Microphones around the room will pick up the sound of for the record and should be used to enhance this. Please speak slowly and clearly and directly into the microphone. Please do have no other participation in the meeting is allowed. Please do not circulate any documentation or photographs because they will not be considered today. Please do not communicate with councillors by passing notes, etc. during the meeting. Item 2, to agree the minutes of the meeting held on the 12th of June 2025. I wish that I signed these are the true and correct record. All in favour? Yeah. Declaration of interest. Members are invited to declare at this point any interests, including the nature of those interests, or lobbying in respect of any items appearing on the agenda. None. Item 4. Full plan and permission for the conversion of the former Brentwood care home in Leyland to 13 1-bedroom and 11 2-bedroom apartments with car parking and landscaping and all associated places. So to Fiona Hunter.
Jonathan Smith's doing the presentation.
Well, the presentation will be put forward by Jonathan Smith.
Thank you, Chair. Thanks, members. Just quickly, I want to go through a supplementary update which was published late afternoon yesterday. The council, we know where obviously has been the landowner, and so advice has been given that enforcing against a Section 106 agreement might not be possible or difficult to implement. An alternative, therefore, is a Section 111 agreement, which could be entered into, which would require the developer or the applicant to enter a Section 106 in turn. Once the developer applicant has obtained the necessary legal interest in the site. The Section 106 agreement would contain the obligations and the heads of terms that are already in the report under Table 1. And to facilitate that, a Grampian condition is recommended, which sets out the heads of terms within the 106. The condition wording has been changed just to refer to the correct revised plan. And as a result of these changes, the recommendation has been changed to reflect those. So moving on to the presentation. As Chair's mentioned, the applications for the conversion of the former Brentwood care home, which is in Leyburn, into 24 affordable rented apartments. 13 1-bedroom, 11 2-bedroom with associated landscaping and car parking. The application is submitted by Briley Homes, which is a council-owned company on land which is owned by the council. Brentwood Lodge is located on Quarry Hill Lane, just north of the A684 in Leyburn, a highly sustainable location close to residential areas, close to the shops, GP surgery, Wensleydale Railway. It's within the Leyburn Local Service Centre and it lies just outside but adjacent to the Leyburn Conservation Area, just there to the northwest of the site. The existing building was formerly a care home. It was closed in 2014. It's lying dormant since. There has been, up until very recently, a dentist practice operating from the site. They have now moved into the centre of town. The building is in sound condition, which was allowed for easy conversion, and it includes both upper and lower ground levels, which are enclosed with the central courtyard. This would be opened up to be used as a shared garden space as part of the conversion. Dwellings surround the site, which in the main is a very private location due to replanting, and it can be seen from the northwest of the site from within the conservation area. Landscaping would be enhanced with new planting and pocket gardens would line the majority of the site along with the shared garden to the centre of the development. So some photographs here. The first one shows the main entrance, and to the right is the old dentist surgery. The second shows the sub-ground level and gives you an indication of the levels of the ground sloping down towards the A-class road. The top right picture shows the conservation area, which includes a cluster of buildings which were a Victorian workhouse. And the other photographs just give you a general idea of the condition of the building. It would provide 24 self-contained, affordable rented apartments, and these would be managed by Broadacre Housing Association. Design focuses on reusing existing materials where possible, improving energy efficiency. Existing windows and doors would be replaced with more efficient UPVC and aluminium in a grey colour. A new roof would be replacing the dilapidated concrete tiles with a similar system. The rationalisation of the built form and landscaping together with a discreet and minimal intervention to the existing building would result in an overall enhancement of the site, and so officers consider the views into and out of the conservation area would be improved and enhanced. Leyburn has already met its housing delivery target by the district as a whole, with a 2.8-year housing land supply, which is, of course, well below the 5-year required supply as set by national government. This invokes the national presumption in favour of sustainable development, and the scheme meets the identified local needs of smaller, affordable units, and it fully complies with the Richmondshire local plan and the NPPF. All technical matters have been addressed. Highways have raised no objections. Biodiversity net gain exceeds the 10% minimum requirement, 13%, and that's achieved mainly on site with a small woodland credit purchase, which is secured by Section 106. There's a back mitigation plan in place, and a drainage strategy has been accepted by the Lead Local Flood Authority. Public health and ecology have both supported the proposal subject to condition. There are 6 category C trees which are being removed to make way for access, and it's intended that any trees that are removed are replaced at a 2-to-1 ratio. So that's assuming that it is only 6 trees to be removed, they would replant 12. Now, those are located at the north of the site there are 2 here to facilitate parking, and there is another tree down here. That includes some shrub removal as well. Obviously, since closure, there's been a lot of self-seeding and overgrowth of the landscaping. That's all going to be ratified, and pared back, and additional planting will be put in place. Yorkshire Water have yet to comment on the scheme, and this is reflected in the recommendation. So these are the proposed plans, which will show the limited interventions that are intended. So there's fenestration is rotting, which is timber. It hasn't been looked after, and obviously it's degraded since it closed. There to be removed and replaced. To bring everything up to standard energy efficiency requirements, the brick skins to be removed and insulation is to be put in, and then the brick replaced and repointed and made new. But otherwise, it essentially looks more or less identical as it did before. The only real intervention is the knock through of a walkway, which would allow access from outside of the building to the central courtyard, which I'll show you on the next slide. So as you can see there in the centre, there's a courtyard area which is now open. This was closed off by a walkway. This is a communal garden area, and you can see around the site are the pocket gardens which relate to the individual apartments. In terms of parking, there's 23 parking spaces regular. There are 2 accessible parking spaces, 25 parking spaces regular, 2 accessible, and my microphone stopped working. Can I borrow yours? And three visitor spaces. Late afternoon, we did receive an amended site plan, which is to address concerns raised by Councillor Sedgwick on Monday, who asked if it was possible to increase the accessible parking. And they responded by increasing the parking there from 2 to 4, close to the main centre of the site. Now, our recommendation hasn't changed because this came in late afternoon yesterday. Highways has not yet been consulted, so we can't comment on its suitability, although the changes do seem quite minimal. Councillors may wish to discuss this and change the recommendation to include these amended plans. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Jonathan. Our next speaker from the public is Will Rogers, who is the agent speaking in support.
Because I can't hear now.
Good morning, members. Firstly, we're very pleased that officers have recommended approval for our application. The demand for affordable homes continues to rise, with many families and individuals struggling to find suitable, reasonably priced accommodation. This proposal to convert a redundant care home into affordable flats offers a small but meaningful step towards addressing that urgent need. It provides much needed housing options for those who need them most. As Jonathan's mentioned, in light of the council's current position of not having a 5-year land supply, presumption in favour of sustainable development, as set out in the NPPF, is engaged. And we firmly believe that this scheme exemplifies what sustainable development should look like. The new homes will be delivered as affordable rent units, meaning rents will be capped at no more than 80% of the local market rates, including no service charges. This ensures real affordability for local people. This proposal reflects a strategic and thoughtful reuse of a vacant property that has stood vacant for an extremely long time. Rather than allowing the former care home to stand empty and deteriorate, we are repurposing it to meet a vital local need. Development will not only provide essential housing, but also breathe new life into the site, contributing positively to the area's renewal. The scheme has been carefully designed to ensure that each flat meets high standards of comfort, safety and quality, and has been shaped by extensive engagement with local stakeholders, residents, professionals and the case officer. Their input has been invaluable, and are confident that the final design reflects a shared vision for the future of the site. This project also aligns with Briley Homes' broader mission to promote sustainability and inclusive development. By creating housing that's accessible to a diverse range of people and income levels, we are supporting greater social inclusion and community cohesion. In conclusion, I respectfully urge the committee to support the council's recommendation for approval. This is a rare opportunity to deliver genuinely affordable housing, bringing a redundant building back into a meaningful use. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Rogers. Members, Councillor Watson.
Thank you, Chair. Obviously took part in the site visit on Monday, where it was clear that any changes to this site will have minimal impact on the conservation area to the north and west of the plot. It brings back into use a building that stood empty really for a significant amount of time, attracting vandalism. So it's good to bring it back in and actually see it being used as affordable houses close to the centre of Labour, near all of the services. And it's also good that the developer has picked up on conversation from Monday as regards the increased visitor parking, which has now come in as part of the amendment. Based on that, I'm more than happy to recommend approval.
Councillor Foster.
Thank you, Chair. I think this is one of the best applications I've seen since I've been on planning for 5 to 6 years now. They picked up the real need that we all are suffering from in all areas about affordable housing. And although we can have a discussion all day about affordable housing, these are social housing that we desperately need in the whole of Richmond. And I'd like to second that. It's a minded, am I right? It's a minded to approve at the moment, isn't it? So I'd like to second. If the proposal from Councillor Watson was minded, I'd like to propose that as well, with the just some slight changes to the designs. If we can change them to the conditions, is that okay, Chair?
Yeah. Councillor Sedgwick.
Thank you. Speaking as a local member, yes, I was really pleased that you came on board that I said 2 disabled parking spaces could be improved on. So I'm really pleased with that. Thank you. Also in paragraph, my voice is croaky, never mind this. So in paragraph 7.9, the developer should explore the inclusion of electric vehicle charging points. I hope they do, because Labour is exploring this because we don't have any, and the way things are going, we need them. So Labour's exploring them, but I think also it could be forward facing if we looked at them. But I'm really pleased it's gone down well with everybody, and I'm happy to propose second and whatever. Thank you. Yes, support it. Thank you.
Councillor Peacock.
Yeah, well, mine is just a question. I'm very much supportive of it. I've never really come across this section 111 before. I'm sure the public won't. I wonder if you could explain it a little bit more to us, why we're having a section 111 first and then going on to the 106. I gather it's because the site is owned by North Yorkshire Council. I'm not sure.
I can provide simple terms, but I think Francis can go into a bit more detail. But ultimately, an entity, the council, can't enter into agreement with itself the Brierley Homes, which is owned by the council. And so an overarching agreement needs to be entered into to then facilitate the section 106.
You wish to add?
And so section 111 agreement is just a contract. You don't need to have an interest in the land to enter into it, which you do if you have a section 106. So what we suggest is the section 111 is entered into with section 106 appended to it, with the terms that will be required by the developer once they've got an interest in the land. So then the section 106 would kick in and tie the obligations to the land.
Thank you. It's just I've never heard of it before. I've been planning for a long time. Thank you.
Councillor Hugo.
Yeah, all it was, just following on from Councillor Sedgwick's comments on charging points. We have a very similar development in, well, similar as it is the same developer in one of my villages, and we've got a couple of charging points as part of the deal run by the village. So it is doable. I think it really hopes chief executive has sort of worked really hard to get it over the line. There has been a lot of mistakes being made, and I'm sure that will have learned from those mistakes in the way these EV chargers need to work and the way the meters. So hopefully you'll get some on this development and they'll be successful. Also, I just wanted to ask about on the renewable side, the solar panels. And also it's a little bit worried that it was an energy efficient boiler. Is that can we expand on those two, please?
Off the top of my head, I don't know the technical details of the boiler. All I can say is there are a number of energy saving and carbon initiatives that are being put into the site. Yes, as you say, there are solar panels. They are, as I said, removing the skin of the building and putting in energy efficiency measures to bring it up to standard. There is a condition on the application requiring that the scheme passes Part L building regs and exceeds, which searches for certain levels of carbon savings. Find out about the boiler if you just give me a bit more detail on what was that you wanted to know. Sorry.
I think ultimately it's all going to be prior to occupation. They have to submit an entire energy strategy to us, which will include, what is the most feasible improvement they can do over Part L. So that will include how many vehicle charging points, solar, the boilers. Whilst they've indicated what their strategy is, we'll be pushing them to say, is that as far as you can go at the condition stage?
Can I just come back, Chairman?
Yeah, first of all, go.
Yeah. In an ideal world, there sort of seems to be a sort of standard retrofit now for affordable homes in North Yorkshire. In an ideal world, it would be air source heat pump. I'm not sure whether it would work in that situation, but it would be nice if we could explore that, even if we don't get to the right result. It just have a look to see if the air source heat pump would work instead of a boiler. But yeah, we need to be sort of above and beyond the basic regs, because you've got to remember we don't want to get the occupants into sort of fuel poverty. That's the advantage of having these sort of super efficient homes now, is that those that can't afford it, it helps it to be more affordable. But I'll leave it at that, and I'm sure you've got it in hand.
Councillor Foster.
Just to expand on that, in the Richmond local plan, it says it has to exceed, to get this through, it has to exceed, sorry, it's L, isn't it?
Yeah.
Part L by a percentage. Unfortunately, I'd love to see every house with solar panels and heat pumps, but that doesn't, it's not a material issue in this. It fits with the local plan, it exceeds a section L, and that's as far as we can go, really. Thank you.
Right. The proposed and seconded that the committee are minded to grant. Those in favour. Oh,
Sorry, it's quite a long resolution. We've got to have things out.
Right. Well, they want to read the resolution.
So my understanding of the conversations, you do want the resolution to be amended to include the 4 disabled parking spaces, and what I suggest is we delegate powers to officers to consult with highways just to double check their work in terms of how the cars swinging it, etc. So, minded to grant planning permission subject to the conditions listed within the report and update report, and the prior completion of the section 111 agreement with the terms as listed in the update report, and subject to no objections being received by Yorkshire Water within 21 days of the consultation, and a further consultation with highways for 14 days in respect of the additional disabled parking spaces, with delegated powers to the head of development management to include additional conditions recommended by Yorkshire Water and North Yorkshire Council Highways as needed.
Proposed and seconded, satisfied with that?
Yeah, happy to agree to that.
Okay, so we're minded to grant as described by Santa. Those in favour, please show. Unanimous. Okay. There are no other items of business as far as I know. Next meeting will be on Thursday, the 14th of August. Yeah. So I now formally close the meeting.
Thank you. Thank you. No, thank you.
Make sure it fits.